It's episode 41 of Shed2Ed, coverage of UFC 300.
Yeah, let's just jump right into UFC 300 draft.
First pick overall, minus 3,300 right now. It's Bo Nickel taking on Cody Brundage, who is a semi-respectable 4-4 in the UFC. They're just building him up in that main card time slot. They're going to make that big hype train out of Mr. Bo Nickel.
Yeah, they're still feeding Nickel some cans to crush there, but we'll see how Cody Brundage's grappling is after improving. You know, I didn't think he was going to get the W last time around.
Easy first pick for me. You got Magnum Zhang Wei Li. She's only at about minus 450, but again, super lopsided matchup, and I think she was in a super lopsided matchup in her last fight as well.
I like Zhang Wei Li in this one. I mean, obviously, besides being the best pound-for-pound female fighter in the UFC right now, she's got the UFC math over Yan Xiaonan. She put Carla Esparza in the crucifix. Carla Esparza put Yan Xiaonan in the crucifix. I mean, we're trickling down. I think we see an easy path to victory here for Magnum Wei Li. You know, she's just a pure volume fighter. In a 5-round fight, she's just going to have absolutely monstrous output. Very strong, very tough to grapple with there as well. I think she should dominate. Likely see a finish on this one as well.
I would agree with that. I think Wei Li is ahead of Yan Xiaonan in the striking, ahead of her in the grappling, and I don't see any sort of path to victory for Yan Xiaonan. Now, round 2 is a bit different. You got Kyla Harrison, but we're both a bit iffy on Kyla, and I got Davis and Figueiredo, but I'm starting to have second thoughts on that matchup. So, Figueiredo's like 36 to Garbrandt 32. I didn't realize he was at an age disadvantage. I am glad Figueiredo was up 10 pounds. Now, on your side, Kyla Harrison was known for fighting at, 145, 155, and she's trying to come down to 135? 55.
Yeah, she was a very respectable lightweight. She was showing off the guns at UFC 299 in the crowd there, too, and everyone was just looking, saying, how is this woman going to make 135? I don't know if she will. We might see a catchweight bout at 140, depending on how the weight cut goes. I'm just hoping she still has a lot of gas in the tank after cutting 20 pounds. Down there, but you know, she came in at a really high favorite there over Holly Holm. Some of my buddies were saying we hope Kayla Harrison gets Holly Holmed.
I don't know, man. I'm not big on the hype train. For me, this matchup would have been more interesting 5 years ago, before Holly racked up so many losses, before Harrison racked up a couple of losses. But definitely still intriguing bout. I kind of leaned away from it. I'll let you grab it.
But yeah, good to see Davis and Figueiredo, you know, up in weight. You know, he is 36, so it's probably tough for him to meet 125 nowadays. And Cody Garbrandt is after looking a little bit better in his last couple of fights, so that one should be pretty interesting there as well.
I think his opponents were also weaker in his recent outings, so
he's had to fight down.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when he's matched up with Figueiredo. Round 3 of the draft, I'm starting to buy insurance here. Charlie Olives, big on Du Bronx here at the Shed2Ed, so you know I bought a bit of Charlie insurance, even though I am drafting Arman Sarukian. In your case, you're taking Bobby Green over old man Jim Miller. Jim Miller will now be fighting at UFC 100, 200, and 300, the only fighter to make it through all 3 of them.
Yeah, old man Jim Miller making it all the way through. He won his first 2. So at UFC 100, UFC 200, he won both of those. I'm hoping he breaks the streak here at UFC 300 against my boy Bobby Green. I like rooting for Bobby Green. He's a very entertaining fighter. He's got great hands. He's after improving a little bit in the other aspects of the game there as well. Just choked out old man Tony Ferguson, so we'll see if he can do the same to old man Jim Miller there coming up. Bobby Green's a little bit up there in his age as well, so we'll see at least an entertaining fight if it doesn't necessarily go my way.
If Bobby can get his output there, if he can maintain volume throughout this bout, he can run away with it. But if Jim can slow it down and make it a dogfight, Jim's going to take this victory. We've seen Jim get dragged down into like deeper waters. I've seen Jim grind out like some decision losses in the past couple of years. I don't know. I think Bobby's going to be ahead of him. He won't slow the fight down. He'll try to speed it up.
True, yeah. I think his defense is going to be pretty good. He's got a lot of great head movement there. He's going to be maybe baiting him in. Jim's going to have to get a little bit wild to try and land some good shots on Bobby. Charles Oliveira is not always great to bet on when he's a favorite, but man, he is usually money as a dog. I got him up to almost plus 200 there. Pro line had him at 2.97 odds.
Round 4, I got former champ Aljamain Sterling, and you got future champ Diego Lopez. in the draft.
Hey, I wouldn't mind. He looks absolutely stellar. Last time we were talking about Diego Lopez on this show, he was about to fight Gavin Tucker, and I was saying that it was going to be a lose-lose scenario for Gavin Tucker because Diego Lopez at the time hadn't had any wins in the UFC, but looked absolutely phenomenal against Movsar Evloev. You know, he came out with another first-round finish in his last time out just to show what he can do. You know, he's training, he's sparring all the time. He's only 29, so he's still on the up and up. You know, this guy is very well-rounded. He can show off some striking. He's very long. He's got leg kicks are like whips, man. He's long, he's lanky, he's strong. He's got amazing grappling. I think he's going to be a force to reckon with in that division.
So much speed and movement in these rankings. You know, Super Sadiq isn't exactly an old dog, but when you have guys that are just coming in behind him, young, it's just wild to see how quick this game moves, and I think Diego Lopez is going to be around for a while. Now, Aljamain Sterling and Calvin Kattar, that's an older matchup. Both guys very experienced in the game, so much so that I think we're still going to see Aljo make those adjustments. That's what makes him such an elite level fighter, is he's always adjusting his game. He's going to, you know, he learned a very tough lesson against Sugar Sean O'Malley, so we're going to probably see a more patient, a more observant Aljamain, who's going to really pick those shots and give Calvin a nightmare matchup this week.
Yeah, gotta wonder what he's going to look like in a 3-round matchup, because I think his last few have been 5. And again, you know, he's aging. He's up 10 pounds for this fight. You're grabbing another one of them buys this week, so it's going to be an interesting matchup. We haven't seen Kattar against the likes of Aljo, so it's going to be fun.
For sure. Now, next round, we have some hard hitters. I've got Poatan, Pereira, and you've got Justin Gaethje. Both these guys are looking to get that TKO finish when they get in there. All in on the strength. Both of those guys do not want to find themselves in a grappling match. But I don't think Max is going to bring one, and I don't think Jamal's going to bring one. I think both their opponents are coming to strike as well, and they have the edge in that striking.
Oh, absolutely. I think we were kind of leaving both of these till the later rounds because you know that both of these are probably going to end in a knockout. So it's kind of like, do we want to take the coin flip? Do we want to say this guy's going to knock out the other when they both have power to do it on both sides? So Max Holloway, I like him by decision, but Gaethje's got the power, man. If Max gets clipped, it's going to be lights out, but he can just bob and weave his way through. And then Poatan over Jamahal Hill, man. I do not trust Jamahal Hill to not knock out his opponent. I just couldn't lean with the favorite there. I couldn't take Poatan. I've been burned by Jamahal before, thinking that he doesn't look it, but he's just natural. You know, he's got the accuracy. He's got the southpaw going up against Poatan's orthodox there, so he's got the straight shot right ready to hit him on the chin and just boop him.
You're right, Jamal hits hard. If Jamal connects, the fight's over. I think you're leaning under 2.5 rounds for this fight, so you do see a stoppage for somebody. I got to agree with that.
I do. Now, the only thing that kind of worries me about Jamahal Hill is that Alex Bahia trains with Glover Teixeira, very close with Glover Teixeira, and Jamahal Hill just went 5 rounds against Glover Teixeira in his last fight. Now, that was last year. He's recovering from an injury there as well. Another red flag for Hill. So we'll see what happens. One of these guys is saying sweet dreams.
Now, on the opposite end of the hype spectrum, I've got Alex Rakic. Oh, I'm not excited for that fight, but I think he will edge out Yuri Prochazka. And then you took Jalen Turner. Why did you take the Tarantula over Renato Moicano? Renato Moicano's on a bit of a hype train if we ignore his losses.
Well, that was a late round pick. I'm going to buy insurance on that one. So I was also leaning with Renato Moicano on this one. It was pretty funny on the hot mic last time around a couple months ago, but I'm looking forward to seeing him back in the cage. He had a very impressive performance last time. Jalen Turner got exposed a little while ago by Dan Hooker. Obviously a great fighter there, but the reach doesn't mean everything. And going up against a guy like Renato Moicano, he's got some hands. He's got a lot of aggressiveness. He can close the distance. I kind of do like him, especially at the plus 200 price point. So I'm definitely looking for insurance on this one right now. Just kind of drafting with the books here. So
Jalen Turner's younger, and he's got height. I think those two factors would put him on the favorite side. And you know he's been a perennial favorite as well.
It's true. He is pretty much always a favorite.
And like just a popular pick for us. Now, Alex Rakic has been out for a bit. and I just don't like him, but he's got the height on his side, and Yuri just likes to drop his hands. He likes to throw that weird stuff coming around from the outside. He likes to loop in those punches, and I guess you were kind of steered away from that fight as well. We kind of left it for the very end.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Yuri as a dog there, former champ Yuri, but it is kind of a stylistically difficult matchup for Yuri, where Rakic does have the big reach that he's not really used to, and he keeps his hands down. So I don't know if he's going to get clipped or not. It's going to be a fun, entertaining fight to watch. I do kind of like watching Yuri. At least he mixes it up a little bit for the fans there. So it's going to be a good fight either way, but I definitely was leaving that one till the later rounds.
The final pick, Andrade over Rodriguez. I find that I kind of know what I'm getting with Andrade. She's going to do her thing. Yeah, she's got holes in her game, but she's got that dog in her. And something like 1 out of her last 13 fights actually hit the scorecard. Some crazy statistic like that.
Oh, yeah. I think two out of her last 13 hit the scorecards. But most of Marina Rodriguez fights do hit the scorecard. So depending on if it goes long or short, I think that's going to tell us who the victor is.
I like Andrade to sub. I like her to KO. I think she has potential there. And Rodriguez has let me down a few times. I find that she can get out there and find herself getting exposed a bit. She had a huge moment when she upset Amanda Hebos, but I haven't seen too much firecracker out of her since. That's it for our draft. You took the main event to end within 12 minutes?
Yeah, I'm going under 2.5 for this one. Both of these guys got hands. One of them's going to get knocked out. It's absolutely not going to go the distance. I've been burned by saying that before, but I don't think it's going to last 3 rounds either. So I'm going to go under 2.5. Pretty solid. I think it's minus 160 on the books right now, so I'm leaning pretty comfortable in that direction. I'm pretty excited for UFC 300, hoping it lives up to the UFC 299.
I think this card is stacked, and we're already seeing the consequences of that.
Yeah, they're stealing all of the fight night main events, and they're throwing them on the prelims of this card and last UFC 299 card there as well. Looking forward to get back to some normal stuff there.
Let's get back at it, baby. Shed2Ed.
Let's go, baby.